Here's the thing. Something is always going to be nothing. Whatever it is, whatever the context, it does not matter. If you can always put in at least 1% of your effort instead of doing absolutely nothing, you're going to be better. You're going to succeed so much quicker than if you didn't. There's a saying that, not even a saying, just a math equation, right? If you are 1% better than you were yesterday, that adds up over a year to where you're more than 30% better than where you were the year before, right? So I want you to put this into perspective. You don't want to go to the gym, right? Everyone experiences where they don't want to go to the gym some days. This happened to me yesterday. Literally yesterday, I was hitting legs. I was like, fuck this. I don't want to go to the gym. This is kind of miserable. So what did I do? I felt like shit. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Pop a few Advil, drink some water, take my pre-workout, eat some food, and went to the fucking gym and hit legs and had a great lift. But I didn't want to do it. So maybe I didn't put in my maximum amount of effort. And that's all right, because I want you to think about this. If I just sat home, right, whether on my computer, whether laid in bed and doom scrolled my ass away, if I did anything but go to the gym then, I would have stayed put and honestly probably regressed in my own state of thought from where I was. So instead of that, and me actually going to the gym and having a bad lift, the fact that I got to the gym and I worked out and I put myself through something that I did not want to do, that is what makes me into a better person. And I don't mean a better person like morally. I mean a better, stronger individual of who I can become. Because I don't know the exact scientific details on it, but you become so much, your brain just develops more when you do something you don't want to do. Like if you outright say, I do not want to do this, and you go ahead and do it, you are going to see development in all areas of your life over time if that is consistent, right? So, and that's the biggest thing in terms of the gym and in terms of working out. And that's why so many people fail, because it overlaps with that. They don't see any progress, right? And they're like, well, this is useless. I'm not going to do anything, right? So like, then they don't go, and then it snowballs over, and they're done, and they're finished, and they never change. But if you can get through that first obstacle of not seeing progress, you will see proof. It just will take a tiny bit longer, right? It's not going to be overnight, but it is quick, especially when you're starting off working weights. So let's say 2 weeks in, you finally see some progress. That's your proof. That might be for some people. For some people, it might take 2 months to see some proof of actual change and visual change. So once you see that, then you're like, you know what? I want to treat this like a fucking game. This is me. This is everything that I can do is within grasp. So then you treat it like a game. It's like, I want to go to the gym, right? It's like a video game for me. When I find something new, when I find something that I will like and enjoy, every day I come back and want to do it. And that used to be video games for me. When a new video game comes up, that's what it is for me. But almost all the time now, it's my work. I think of something new that I want to implement, or I'm already implementing something that I want to work on, and that is all I think about in my entire day. At the gym, I think about that. In class, I think about that. On a walk, I think about that. When I'm out with friends, it's what I think about, right? Might tell me that's fucking unhealthy. I really don't care, right? I could care so much fucking less. It's kind of funny, quite honestly. But that kind of just ties into the problem of like people really think perfection is what is needed when it isn't. It is not even close. No one's perfect. Perfection is an idea. It is a goal, right? I wouldn't even say it's a goal. You don't want to be perfect, because if you're perfect, you have nothing to work for. You have nothing to work towards. You have nothing. Right? There's no way to improve if you're perfect. So instead of looking at it that way, I want to look at it that if I have a goal in mind, drop 10 pounds, drop 80 pounds, put on 5 pounds of muscle, get to a 225 bench, hit a 135 bench, you aren't going to get there without the smallest amount of work, right? And I said this in a video or on my story a few days ago, and I couldn't hit a 335 bench, which I've hit a few times, right? It's my all-time max. I don't really bench anymore, but I couldn't hit that if I didn't hit a 315 bench, and failed that literally 5 or 6 times where I like worked up to it. I failed on my birthday. My friend was visiting. I failed it so many times. And you know when I hit my 315 bench? When I flew back on a red eye from San Diego back home to Boston, slept, went to the gym, and hit 315. And it was fucking, it blew me away. And then a few months after that, I hit 335. But that couldn't happen if I didn't hit that 315 after failing so many times. And that couldn't have happened if I didn't hit 225 randomly after putting down the 100-pound dumbbells trying to bench press, because I don't know why I did that. And my friend's like, let's barbell. I was like, oh, all right. And then I just tossed 225, right? And before that, that wouldn't happen if I wasn't struggling to bench 135 for 8. And before that, that wouldn't have happened if I wasn't in my basement during quarantine benching a plastic bar with some 10-pound plate, like plastic weights on the side, putting up like 45, 50 pounds for 40 reps. It all starts from nothing. And if you want to go back deeper to that, I was doing push-ups in my room like every other young teenage kid, doing 5-minute ab circuits and shit like that, you know? So I've been there. I've been there every step of the way. And you have to zone in and you have to understand that you need to put in these small things for effort to get to the end goal. And it sounds so stupid. It's like, yeah, no fucking shit, Sherlock. Of course, but you don't realize that in terms of fitness. You think, all right, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go to the gym once, and I'm going to look like fucking Chris Hemsworth out of nowhere. That's not how it works. You need to train, and you need to act like you're already that person. It's everything in life is a fake it until you make it. I'm going to use a totally different analogy. But when I was starting to get into computers and actually like know how they work and building and stuff like that, I knew nothing. I knew completely nothing. But I was the guy to go to. Not to build. Like, I wasn't building people's computers, but with questions. Why? Because I faked it. You know? And that's what I did for fitness in a long time. I acted like I knew everything anyone could. But I didn't. I had no shit. I could look back at my splits and my workouts from a few years ago, and they were horrendous. They were absolutely disgusting. It was supersets on top of fucking, I don't even know. It was so giant sets. It was so bad. But look where I am now. Look where I was a few years ago, faking everything to now get to where I am, right? And I have thousands of hours of studying and learning, thousands of hours of training, years of training, tens and tens of people that I've trained and helped, right? And that's directly hundreds, if not thousands of people that I've helped indirectly. So I want you to think about, I couldn't have gone here with these smallest little tiny things of effort. So that's what you need to lock into yourself, right? So, excuse me, but think about it this way. Instead of not going to the gym when you don't want to, you can do other things that are still going to benefit you, right? So, by the way, this is fully uncut. This is fully raw. This is one take, because that's kind of what I like doing. I'm not going to lie. But instead of going to the gym when you don't want to, if you really cannot get there, go for a walk, stretch, do something that is going to benefit you in other terms than sitting and doom scrolling. Because I know majority of people watching this video, you probably have at least 7 hours of screen time. And you're like, no, I don't. And then you go look and you have 12. I got a pretty high fucking screen time as well. That's why I use restrictions so I can't scroll. So my day is literally set up so I can't fail. And I also said this in a different video. This plays in directly. If you set up your life and you set up your day, your schedule, like, so you cannot fail, what do you think's going to happen? You're going to fucking succeed. You're not going to fail because it's not an option. It's option E on an ABCD question. It's not there. So for me with my screen time, if I have my everything blocked from 1 a.m. to 10:30 or 11, right? I can't do anything when I wake up, when I go to sleep. Then 12 to 3. So I have an hour and a half time before then to do whatever the fuck I want. 12 to 3, work, right? 4 to 5, pick my ass. 5 to 8 or 6 to 8, 6 to 9, whatever I have it as, work out. So that whole 3-hour period from before I even leave my house to after, I can't be on my phone. So that those are the small things that add up for me to see success with getting off my phone. So for you in the gym to not see progress, you need to reformat how you think and how you actually apply it to your own life so you can make the progress and you can see success. Because I have had countless people who have been in the gym for years. Not only do they look like fucking ass, they've made no progress. I look better than them fucking 4 years ago. So it's not a matter of, it is a matter of how consistent you can be. But if this applies to you, it's not a matter of how consistent you are. It matters of how inconsistent you are. And if it's almost as if you're focusing on the losses instead of the wins, which I know seems backwards, but if I want you to focus on every time you do something bad, right? And again, it seems backwards. But if you focus on the good things, which is very healthy to do, but in terms of working out and getting in the gym and improving yourself and improving your health, getting in shape, if you only focus on the good things and the times you got it done, you're going to praise yourself too much until that's actually what you're doing every single time, right? So if you're in that type of schedule where you're mixed back and forth, and this is a very cold take, I get this, but if you are only focusing on the times when you get to the gym, when that might be once a week, and the other 6 days you don't, what good is that for you, right? So if you switch that and think, okay, you know what, it was good, I got to the gym, but I missed 6 days in this fucking week, what the fuck am I doing? Obviously something needs to change. So if you focus on the things that are going wrong, then you can figure out how to fix them. And again, I understand it is healthy to focus on the good things and be a very optimistic person. But by focusing on the negatives doesn't make you a pessimist, right? So for me in school, yes, obviously I'm praising myself for getting an A or getting a 96 on an exam or some shit like that. But I'm also going to be like, why the fuck did I fail this assignment? Or why the fuck did I get a C in this class, right? Granted, I'm not failing classes, but bear with me. Or assignments. So if I focus on that, I can dig into why I did that. Was it a matter of studying? Was it a matter of just not paying attention in class? Which I know studying, yeah. But you can dig deeper to find the root of your problems from what goes wrong than what goes right. Because nothing goes wrong in what goes right. But everything can go wrong when something goes wrong. It all snowballs over. So you miss a day, do you miss the next day, right? And does that go over? Do you break that on a certain day? Is it like you only skip legs? Okay, well obviously sure, you might not like hitting legs, but why is that? Figure out what that problem is. Is it your programming? Is it exercises? I used to skip legs when I had Bulgarian split squats and lunges and shit like that I didn't like to do programmed. So what the fuck did I do? Change them out and remove them and put in new things, and I love hitting legs. Whoa, who could have fucking guessed? So there is always something to do so you can actually start doing the things that are going wrong and shift those into what is now going right. And it's suddenly you are going to notice your whole world shifts upside down, does a full 180, and you're on top of the world. So I kind of went through a lot of different topics, and I was yapping for 12 minutes straight. But if you can take one thing, focus on the bad. Focus on the negatives. Focus on what is missed. Focus on what is going wrong in your life, and you will see the success that you then want to see.